Hi! Today we're gonna build Zhongli, who did until recently have the strongest shield in the game and was the best shielder. But let's not talk about that. He's the best shielder I have, and that's all that matters. Also, look at the scenery. The scenery, and it's just mountains and clouds. Wow! He failed. Anyway, let's get to building him. Ignore my weird little team. I needed to find that core lapis.
It seems my strength is returning. Not a lot, but enough.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
My power is growing. I see.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
After letting go of my gnosis, I never expected to see a day like this again. Thank you, friend. Ah, yes. I have a new contract here. Care to take a look at it together?
Oh, there we go for raising. I don't have any books. We're not doing level 90. I don't think it's that necessary. Like, if you really need to raise Zhongli to 90...
Osmanthus wine tastes the...
Oh my goodness. If you really need to raise him to 90 for, like, such a good shield, I feel like maybe that extra shield strength is not worth the resources, and you might need to get a little better at dodging. Let's switch his weapons. There's two good options we can pick, right? We can have a beefy shield, we can go black tassel, but the better option, like overall for your team, is Favonius Lance. All of that energy recharge, all the particles it can generate for your team, much better than the type of strength you'll get from black tassel for your shield. So let's raise this one up.
Osmanthus wine.
Where did my weapon go? What? Zhongli!
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
My characters! They're gone! No! What happened? Okay, he's returned. That's so weird. For some reason I have none of these materials. That's fine, I guess. We'll just leave our weapon as it is and move on to talents. I will go back later and raise that. Now for his talents. Normal attack is useless. There was that one point where people were doing cryo Zhongli like 3 years ago, or physical Zhongli. You can raise it if you want to. I'll raise it because I like raising every talent. His shield, the most important one to actually raise. This is the one you definitely want to raise. Meatball, it does damage. Raising it can increase the like pause on the enemies a tiny bit. It depends on your personal preference and whether you're playing him for a shield or to throw a giant meatball on people. But let's go through and raise them. Where did all my materials go? A slight problem. I gotta fight slimes. Or... No, that does not seem worth it. Is it? Yeah, literally 2 for like... That's not worth it. I will be back.
Osmanthus wine.
Alright, the slimes have been defeated. So hopefully we have enough this time. I'm looking at it and I think we like barely have enough to get through. But it should be fine. Please feel free to like drop a comment and remind me to go farm more slimes. Because knowing me, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to assume we have enough, and next time I go to erase a character that needs slimes, I'm going to be in the exact same spot. But let's finish these talents. There we go. Talents all done. We had just enough slimes and books to do it. Now the last bit of erasing we need to do is artifacts. Oh, and it's already on a set for me. That's great. So what we want is tenacity, because the HP percent is very good. Plus, his pillar can activate the 4-piece set. When an elemental skill hits an opponent, the attack of all nearby party members is increased by 20%. Their shield strength increased by 30% for 3 seconds. This effect can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds, even when the character who is using this artifact is not on field. Which is huge. So you want to see, okay, there's none with crit rate. So we're just gonna steal this one from Toma. This one is crit rate, so we're gonna go with that, plus the energy recharge and HP percent is very helpful. Now, like, depending on your weapon, if you have Black Dazzle, probably put an energy recharge stance on, just so you make sure you have enough energy if you want to use his burst. If not, just go with HP. Same with the goblet. All we need is HP. I'm sorry, Toma. Your artifacts are getting stolen. Now, if you find you really need the extra particles from Favonius, go with crit rate. It'll help you. I feel like I don't have any teams that are going to be extremely reliant on Fav proccing. So, HP. And that's it. I'm going to raise them all up and then show them off. Thankfully, we don't have to hope for crit or hope for anything good, which is nice. Alright, all those artifacts are raised. Weirdly, we got a lot of defense percentage rolls. Like, look at this one, 22% defense. Zhongli is already not going to be taking damage, but when he does, at least he's got that extra defense. Look at this one. This one's kind of nice. I like this artifact. This would be good to steal and put on someone else as an off-piece. But an attack roll, a crit roll, and 3 EM rolls. That's huge. That's so good. But that's all we have to do to raise him. And here we come out to 42,000 HP, 1,000 attack, and 1,000 defense. You could do a more crit rate if we wanted Fav to proc. I'm not caring that much about it. But, oh, look at the lanterns as well. My graphics aren't up to the high bit yet. We'll come back here at the end and I'll put it in the good settings. But I've got 2 tests I want to try out for Zhongli. But first, we need to say goodbye to Yanfei.
You want me on your team?
Oh dear, Bennett. He has no HP. What happened? I want to try him against the Hydro Tulpa. Which is going to sound weird, but stick with me. First, Bennett needs energy. And then we can go goof off. They need to make a potion where you can feed it to your characters and they will get full burst.
Adventure time!
Whoopsies. Let's see if we can get Fav to block here. Here we go. Huge.
I always bounce back.
Alright, to the Hydro Tulpa we go. I don't have this unlocked. We going swimming. Those fish restore stamina? I completely never knew that. That's good to know, I guess. Alright. Now, if you've never fought this thing in Abyss before, there's this really annoying thing where... So he's a Hydra enemy. Let him kill us. It does a bit of damage. And then if you use Bennett... Ah, it doesn't work here. But he's Bennett gives you a pirate aura when Okay, now that we have his burst back, wait for this Hydra to run out. So what happens when you use Bennett's burst, he applies a pyro aura to your characters. So what I was gonna see is how well Zhongli can block damage from the Hydro Tulpa when he's like vaporizing on you. But we can test him out with just his simple damage. I'm not sure how much like he really does. He was doing about 10k to Tainari. So that took like 3 hits and he was gone.
Stabilize.
Let's try it again. 1, 2,
My tail's all messed up.
Look, I think that's not bad. If you're running around, you're doing stuff on field, like, you should not just be standing there, you know. So that doesn't seem too bad. The only other thing I wanted to test him out was, you know, like, a more practical test of his shield. I keep getting knocked around in this domain, and I want to farm it, but it's such a pain. So we're gonna see how running a team with Zhongli will help us instead. So we're gonna swap out Bennett for Fischl.
Behold, the Prinzessin der Verurteilung.
And then give it a go. And see how well we can survive. We do have 2 defensive like options, but considering I was getting knocked around so much, like, and characters were dying while I still had Yao Yao, like, if we survive, it'll be a win.
Another swamp.
By royal decree.
One with the force. Let's nip that in the bud.
Cheap tricks. Order guide you.
And plus,
Gather.
oh, look at that, nice. This burst gives us like a moment of peace.
I hear everything.
Cheap tricks. Freeze.
Yeah.
I will have order.
Of course, you will not be able to stun the Kairagi once one of them has died. Once one dies and the other regains his energy, his
Let's nip that
HP,
in the bud.
he becomes like uncrad controllable.
And shroud. Yeah.
Order guide you.
Get him!
Gather.
Oh, that would have been huge.
Can't see?
Picked the wrong test subject.
I would say that's a success. Everyone's alive. I did that a lot quicker than I normally do. Zhongli, I'm glad I've raised him now. I was out here struggling. And Noelle she didn't seem like the right fit to like bring onto the team. So this is great. I will give an important note. If you are testing like shields on characters, the damage that a shield takes is based off the damage the character would take. So hence why I was using like Tainari. He's my main DPS. I'd want to see how the shield holds up with the character I'm using on field. Whereas if I had kept Yanfei on our team, her defense is significantly lower. The damage she'd be taking would be like multiple times more than Tainari was taking, and the shield would have like instantly evaporated. So if you ever get a shielded character, like you ever get Zhongli, Noelle, Lanyan, and you raise them and you want to see how the shield holds up, make sure you're doing it on a raised character. And like even better yet, using like a DPS character or the character that would be on field for most of the time you use in those teams to give yourself like a better sense of how the shield will hold up. We can like test out the meatball. Not with anything like serious. We will steal some random artifacts and see how it goes. Like, I never realized how awful that goblet is. What is that? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's not like our Beto's is any better. I don't have any better ones, so we'll take Noelle's. We just want some crit damage. And then we need some attack. Do I really have to change this setting every time? Yeah, there we go. That's a good attack one. That seems fine. And we'll just leave that flower on. Now let's make up a team and go throw a meatball. So obviously we want Zhongli, we want Bennett. There's not really much else you can use to I can use to really buff anyone. We can bring Ningguang for the residents. And we'll bring Hu Tao for emotional support.
Gonna be
Why not? I do not have enough people raised for this. But now let's make sure we have these bursts and then throw a meatball. There's one. Can we
Let's
get
light
another?
it up.
Okay, let's go. I'm not gonna bother trying to finish that.
Let's light it up. I'm going in.
That down, and then we want the shield for residents.
It's nothing.
Ningguang scream, go through it. And then we'll see if we have any crit rate food before we throw this thing down. We do. It gives us a little bit of crit damage. I don't think it matters that much.
This
Let's
is
go.
order.
Huge! Okay, let's get this back. I probably should have checked all these stats to start with, but you know.
Stabilize.
Teamwork
Surely we
is
get this
teamwork.
back after we do everything.
Give up.
Solidify.
She didn't drop
I
the
will have
screen.
order.
There we go, 70k.
Higher, higher, hands on fire.
Followed by a huge 2k.
Osmanthus wine.
We have no lanterns yet. That's fine. Maybe they'll show up as I finish my thoughts. Overall, maybe don't build him as a nuke DPS.
Osmanthus wine tastes the
Thank you,
same as I
Zhongli.
remember.
If you want a character that does huge, like, single hits of geo damage, just go with Navia. She's meant to be a DPS. His shield, it's still one of the strongest shields in the game. It's been the strongest shield for like 5 years now. If you have him, just build him. What could go wrong? He's really great in a lot of teams. I would say though, never go for his signature weapon. It sucks. I would have gone for it for the silliness of this account of trying to get every character and like their signatures within like version order. We're still stuck on version 1.0 series, like 1.x series, so that's
Boats are
fine,
made
I
for
guess.
transferring commodities back and
And do not get his constellations. Do you really need 2 pillars? Do you really need the shield when you drop it? This is a talent upgrade. Do you really need more AoE and petrification? Not much, like in the higher end content, like the harder stages, is really going to be affected by crowd control. Enemies can't be affected. Like the big bosses, domain, like, I don't know, man. It's useless. It increases the talent. This certainly is silly. Do not get it though. And now we have all our pretty lanterns here, and there's not much else for us to do. So I will leave it here. Please feel free to subscribe, comment, remind me to farm slimes,
where do you want
because
to
I
go
will forget
next?
by the time I upload
If
this.
you'd like to see Liyue's Taurus.
Next, we're gonna raise Hu Tao. We have everyone else we need for the team I wanna use for her. But feel free to suggest who we do next. A lot of these level 70 characters, like, we're gonna return to and like properly build them. I got a funny thing for Fischl. But that's it. Please, like, leave your
Osmanthus wine
suggestions
tastes the
below.
same as I remember.
That did not include you, Zhongli.
But where?
But that's it for this video, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye
What should I
bye.
try this?
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share?